Antinomian Asceticism is the fifth full-length album from Barshasketh, Edinburgh, Scotland-based black metal band originally formed in New Zealand by musician Krigeist. In the early 2010s, they were known for something that was close to orthodox black metal, occult black metal. There was definitely a classics attuned sound coming from those first two albums, and it only gathered additional interest beyond that point. This is a very refined band that has made a leap with each of its records, and this fifth one, for full context, was I think most people were wondering where they could possibly go beyond 2019 when their self-titled record kind of broke out into bigger notice. They were certainly reaching a point of something that was particularly good and special in the world of black metal with Ophidian Henosis back in 2015, but it was the self-titled record that was their big statement. It was a double LP. It was probably some of their best work in terms of just riff after riff black metal that had a strong melodic sense, dissonant guitar work in the way that it developed its rhythms, as well as just a strong sense of atmosphere. If you're a fan of Ascension, Magua, Svarti Dowdy, where they have a little bit of death metal aggression infused in some of their work, but it still has that occult black metal feeling. I think that record is a standout, and that's a lot to lead up to here, and I feel like that precedence ensures that there's a lot of pressure for what this record would be. Antinomian Asceticism has to live up to not only the previous work, but expand upon it in a serious way. And so I believe that it did that for my own taste. I think this is a very strong black metal record with an intense presence that expresses through very fine work. And we'll get to more of that and the way that I see this record, but first we'll cut to a clip and just get a sense for how it feels. So beyond the dissonant craft of some of these pieces, the strong melodic affect, the strong production values, the thresher of riffs and classic as well as modern black metal thought, the highest standard possible is found within this record, not only in its craft but also the meaning behind it. There's a strong philosophical arc behind most of this band's work. It helps send this record over the top in terms of applying meaning to a feeling, and the way that this record smolders a little bit here and there helps to breathe some space into these actions. But otherwise, if you're familiar with bands like Funeral Mist or Thy Darkened Shade, even Nightbringer, in terms of the way that they compose second wave black metal influenced riffcraft into something that is much bigger, there's a bit of that goes into the general modus of Barshasketh's sound, but they are more melodically inclined. They are a little bit more traditional in some sense and less in others. They set well next to those other names because of their ambition of their work and the way that it plays out into its own personality. There are details to the nth degree that I could talk about here in this general review, but if we go piece by piece, you'd find that every song has its own station and meaning and place on this record. It's all very ornate, but also intense in its movement. It does feel like a metal record. It does feel like we're getting riffs. It does feel like this is a black metal record proper in every sense, but it is their own acrobatic and athletic fusion that feeds into this thing that makes it acerbic and venomous and aggressive as well as contemplative. There's a search as well as an attack at the same time. And I think that a lot of that does come from my appreciation for the guitar work and the incessance of the vocals, which have a lot to say, but they pull back when they can. I think this album is just one of the easiest recommendations I could give this year. I think this band has been at the top of their game for 10 years now, and I think between their last three records, this is an already notable group who just keeps ascending with each release, and it sets the bar kind of impossibly high for the next one. If they only ever created at this quality level with this much to put into each work, I would never be disappointed with that. So in terms of introducing 2025 with one of its best albums yet, this is a best foot forward and one of the highest standards possible for black metal these days as far as I'm concerned. So for me, that's a very high recommendation. I think that Antinomian Asceticism is easily the best release of January overall and one of the best of the year. so far. So check that out for yourself. It released on January 9th, and go ahead and read my review for more of my thoughts in depth.